His faith shaped him. His parents were very strong, believing Irish immigrants, and he grew up in a thriving parish in the Dorchester section of Boston.
It was a very mixed income neighborhood. There were people that had single-family homes living beside 3 deckers. People lived over stores, and people lived in fairly good-sized houses. The income mattered almost zero.
All through my life, that was my concept of what a neighborhood should be. When I got out of the Army, I went to Boston College. I was trying to get into business because I was dying to make money, because I never had any money. I just wanted to know what it felt like, you know. So, but nobody would hire me. So then I went to work for my brother John at a small building company. Then I got into the real estate business right from there. It satisfied my interest in how people live and what was making good neighborhoods, what was making bad neighborhoods. And we would build properties in areas that were good. My brothers wanted to keep doing that, but I knew there was something missing here. I wanted to build mixed income housing, which I had been thinking about all my life. I started my own company in 1973. In 1973, mixed income housing wasn't really known or accepted. Most people thought that you couldn't do it. You couldn't get market rate people into a development if they knew there were low income families there. I knew it would work because I lived it growing up. The first mixed income community we did was Queen Anne's Gate in Weymouth, 25% low and moderate and the rest market rate. And that became a real winner. We started off with 150 units, and now it's 670 units. And we converted public housing into mixed income housing, and they thought that was completely insane.
People said he was crazy. Well, if you wandered around America Park in those days, you might have had a reason for questioning his sanity.
It was a terrible place, but they were great people. And both Joe and I felt that if the residents had a real voice in the process, that it would work long term. And it was a great success. Continues to be.
Our job is to try to get to the very guts of the problem and mend it and have it grow. I was very pleased to see an article in the Wall Street Journal that talked about East Lake Villages in Atlanta, Georgia.
It's a neighborhood that was failed in every sense of the word, and we made a significant investment across mixed income housing, education, recreation, health. And over a period of time, the community came back to life. It's vibrant.
It's a splendid example of how to organize an entire neighborhood, and that's what TAC is all about.
We're really able to see the entire picture of how neighborhoods need to change. And we should be known as an organization that can come in and provide big vision planning and strategies that help change neighborhoods. And now we provide technical assistance to the organizations that are doing neighborhood revitalization work, the social services, the planning, the stakeholder development, the partnership development.
They understand that the mixed income housing is a driver of change, but it only works for complete transformation when all of these other things are happening.
By being an objective organization that really doesn't have skin in the game when it comes to development, we can look at a community and tell all the different players, this is happening in your place, and here are some recommendations for what could be different.
It's in the interest of all of us to make sure that these neighborhoods are healthy, balanced, and provide a wide range of housing choices that are affordable.
The mission of TAC is to put everything in place that's needed in that community and make it work. And at the point that it's working, it will take on a life of its own. Our work is over. We move on. At Boston College, we had a tremendous Jesuit, John McCarthy, who taught us about all the things that St. Ignatius did to turn around the world and make it a better place. And we're going to try to teach these young people how they can change the world. And we thought it would be good to introduce a real estate course in the business school of Boston College. We're going to tell them what needs to be changed and how to change it, because we've done a little bit of that in our company. I also have a Center for Real Estate and Urban Action, at Boston College, and they're going to take the best minds, bring them together, and tell everybody in the world, basically, how we have to build our communities better.
His experience, his faith, his commitment with us as an institution that's been part of the Boston fabric for 150 years now, it'll yield great results.
If I were to say how to keep the legacy going, what is the vision? Its core is commitment for the long term, willing to take risks. Obviously, Joe took tremendous risks.
How many developers in that day and age were willing to put their faith in low-income tenants? Joe was. Joe's willing to do that.
The end of that is a community where people live in dignity. That's what he wanted. That's what he continues to want.
And I want these ideas of mine to be promoted and nurtured and continued. Oftentimes people will think I'm ridiculous to try to keep doing something, but I have always felt that I should hang in there with it and prove it that it can be done. And that's the legacy I might want to leave. If it's the right thing to do, don't quit on it.